Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do get started, let me just go ahead and say something. Static Shock is one of those characters who are really cool. Now, I grew up watching Static on TV, and I know a lot about his powers and some of his skill sets, but I also do know that we don't see him a lot anymore nowadays. Not in Detective Comics. Now, some of you guys might know that reason, some of you guys may not. But a brief little explanation about that is the author for Static, I think, pulled his properties from Detective Comics for his own personal reason. I think he didn't like what they were doing with his character or what they were trying to plan out for him. So, there's that one reason. Now, I don't know the full story, so that's all I will say. But it does suck we don't see him in any stuff nowadays. But hopefully one day, that does change. If not, we even start getting a Static Shock reboot, maybe. I know I would definitely love to watch that. Now then, with that being said, let us go ahead and get started. Now, in this world, quirks are a little bit more powerful. So let's go ahead and go with that as the starting point for things. Now, Izuku Midoriya, at the age of 4 years old, he learned he was quirkless. And that really was not fun. In this world, it's dangerous. There are powerful maniacs, and there are people who are willing to do whatever they can to get by. And that's hard for heroes to deal with. Deku, whenever he learned he was quirkless' mother, she was a little bit more concerned. There's the idea that one day he might get into trouble and may never be able to get out of it. But she couldn't be overbearing or overprotective. She knew that. And right now, hearing that her son doesn't have a power to defend himself had her nervous. Though Deku, he was devastated. He was hoping to have some sort of ability that could make him a hero. And that it does kind of suck. And the doctor, he had to inform them of this. Now, when they got home, Inko, she was very worried. Crime has been on the rise as of late, and heroes are trying to work around the clock to make sure it is taken down. Those people are put behind bars, and things are easier. The police have even been taking measures to try and take out villains. Try and take them in their own right. They've had to be more proactive. And the recent funding they've gotten in the last couple years has helped do that. And that seems to only be increasing more and more as time does go by. New measures to make sure civilians are safe, and new measures to make sure they don't need to be saved by pros. They have become more proactive as an actual security force, if not an actual police force. Now, we do have a few years later. Deku, he's thought about giving up this idea of being a pro. He's analyzed, gone over a few different powers people have, and he has tried to calculate how strong some of them could be. I mean, there's certain heroes like Endeavor. His power is very strong. There's Best Jeanist, who he could slice a building in half if he wanted to, or use his fibers to just catch things in the air. Hell, create a barrier in front of him to protect himself. There's Hawks, who, if he wanted to, he could be proactive on a fourth of the city and make sure that no crime, no accidents happen on that end. It's incredible. There's even Mount Lady, who can become as large as a skyscraper. It's so weird. And right now, that does go through his mind. As Deku, he does sit there in class drawing in his notebook. He has an idea for what he could have been as a pro. And it definitely does mean something. Right now, him doodling a hero costume and wondering about what he could have gotten. There's a picture of him raising up a rock with telekinesis. And that could have been an interesting power. He wonders how strong his quirk could have been. Or maybe if he even got his dad's quirk. Or maybe even both. Having firepower like that, and what he could do. I mean, it's perplexing. What could he technically do with pyrokinesis? Control fire with his mind, stuff like that. I mean, hell, that could be fun. But right now, he's Izuku. Him snapping back to attention. And the teacher does get a comment on it. He seems a little distracted. Is he alright? No, sorry, sorry, Mr. Yes, well, as I was saying, you were a candidate for going to UA? Oh, um, I'm not so sure about that. I see. That's quite unfortunate. But it does appear to be so. Don't listen to him teach. Right now, someone going to lean back in their chair and talk about it. If he went to UA, what would he do? Go to general studies? I mean, shit. Maybe he can get a part-time job there as a fucking janitor. And he does a turn, looking at the person who does sit there talking about it. He's got to be realistic. I mean, seriously. It's a real thing. Right now, Bakugo going to won't laugh out as Deku does a turn his head to him, looking back at the guy who does talk about it. I mean, being quirkless isn't fun, but shit. Maybe he could be a cop. I mean, that's what he might try to do. No superpowers, no nothing. Just pure old blasting the problem away. Sounds fun enough. And the kid does turn looking at Deku. Right now, gonna bring his hands up and talk about it. It could be pretty fun. And he does look down before turning back to his notes, closing his notebook as the class does go to end. And the principal, not the principal, the teacher does begin to start talking about a few things. People filing their way out the door as Deku, he does make his way over. The person going to get up and go to step in front of Deku, talking about it. Come on, man. Don't worry about it. He's just busting his balls. He knows that, right? Move. I just want to go home. Come on, man. Come on. Seriously, we're both quirkless. Listen, did you want to hang out with us? Hang out with you? Why would I do that? Come on, I'm not as bad as Bakugo. Fuck off. Him filing past, turning and talking about it. The quirkless don't have powers. So, if they manage to do something, he'll see them in the big leagues. Though, maybe they might just be his secretaries. That would be nice. Or maybe he could even hire one of them to polish his hero suit. Maybe be his dry cleaner. I mean, he'll make sure to pay them pretty damn well. Laughing out and going to leave. Before he does turn back and throw his hand over his shoulder. Talking about it. Come on. Guys like that, they're not good. I mean, shit. He's worse than a lot of people. Some people just aren't meant to be pros. Listen. He knows about something going on. If he wants to get in on it, then meet him after school. He'll be, at the mall. Just consider it. People like them need to stick together. he knows a lot of people who are like them. Like us? Yeah, quirkless. We gotta stick together. We can't deal with the freaks and mutants out there. I mean, haven't you heard about one of us being attacked by one? What? Attacked? Yeah. Some freaky ass mutant type. They put a girl in the hospital just because she was normal. I heard she rejected him because he was a freak. Seriously? That's horrible. He knocked out 3 of her fucking teeth. I'm pretty sure he also broke a rib or 2, but it's not even the worst part. His family are trying to claim she was racist towards him. But he was the aggressor. It's all on footage. You can't be serious. Yeah. Not just that, but that's been happening a lot lately. Us normal people gotta stick together. Him holding up his hand and extending it out towards Deku. And Deku does look down at it, taking it and nodding. Well aware that this might be a bad idea, but from what it sounds like, it makes sense. They don't got no powers. Legally, they can't carry weapons. But that's another thing. They gotta watch out for the little guy, the people who can't defend themselves. From what he's saying, it makes sense. Right now, he's gotta stay safe. I mean, his mom doesn't have a strong quirk. She might as well be quirkless. All she can do is fly objects around the house. And even then, that can get her a little winded. Fuck. This is a problem. The two leaving school and talking about a few things. Right now, him relaxing a little bit as this person, he does continue talking with Izuku. And whenever they do go to start making their way towards the mall, they do to see a villain attack currently in progress. Making their way past it and trying to ignore it. The guy talking about how it's a freaking mutant type again, and ignoring it with walking past Deku. And the two, they do eventually go to meet up at the mall with their quote-unquote group. Right now, him being introduced to a few people and even meeting a girl. Quite surprised that there's 10 of them. They're all quirkless. And they do to talk to Deku, introducing themselves as he does go to meet Bonnie. He does go to meet Jack. And he does even go to meet somebody else. Right now, just being welcomed with open arms. And right now, the man does go sit down on the bench, talking about a few things. Right. So, anyways, this is Izuku. They're from the same school and in the same class. Right now, he's a little understanding about what's going on. But the situation is easy. They're gonna try to help people out. And from what he's heard, something is going down at the docks that could get them a lot of money. Seriously? You want to talk about this out in the open with him? Come on, guys. It's not that big of a deal. Besides, if anyone asked, we're just talking about a game. We all play online. Alright? You're crazy. I know. But listen, what we gotta do is easy and simple. That's it. We just got to try and get the job done and get some money. I mean, my brother knows a guy who can help us. Shit. You sure though? What if we get pros on us? That's gonna be easy. It's not massive destruction, it's not anything like that, it's just a simple break-in. At worst, they'll just send the police after us, but even then we gotta do it fast. You up for this, Deku? What's going on? We're just trying to help out people. Our people. That's it. This little group of ours, we gotta defend the little guy. I heard they're moving something down there, and I want to be there when they do it. They're doing some sort of quirk research on mutant types. And from what I hear, they're not making things any better. Right. Okay, I can. But when is it? Tonight. Tonight? Shit, man. That's too soon. I mean, I know we've been planning things out, but seriously? I'll do it. Them going to look at Deku. And he does get express. Listen, he gets it, but maybe good. Listen, I know you're nervous, man, but we could use your help. You're smart. Trust me. I mean, this guy is one of the smartest in our class. Them looking at him. And Deku, he does it a nod. Right now, the group hanging out for a little bit, and Izuku being a little bit more relaxed. They do get some food, sit down, talk about a few things, and just hang out for a minute. Before, they do exchange contact information and part ways. And later that night, Deku, he does understand. He feels a bit better. Giving up on UA and helping people in his own way. Maybe that is what he can do. He doesn't have powers, he doesn't have money, but he can help protect normal people. And this does go through his head. Right now, him getting dressed in a hoodie and going to put on some sneakers. Before he does, gonna step out and tell his mom. He's gotta run to the store real quick. He'll be out for a while. And she does a turn. Kind of concerned as Deku, he does go to stare at her. And she does try to tell him not to do that. Villains can be more proactive at night. And she's worried about him. Go to the store tomorrow. And Deku does get a phone call. Him grabbing his phone and going to mute it. And Inko does get a stone stare at that. Deku's phone dinging with some text messages. And he does get a turn looking at his phone. Before he does respond, and Inko does ask about who that is. Oh, just a friend of mine. She was hoping that we can meet up. She? Izuku, do you have a girlfriend? Don't sound so surprised, Mom. No, she's just a friend. Me and her aren't. Well, Izuku, I understand. Listen, just if you're gonna go out to meet her, just be safe. Yeah, Mom. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be late. We had plans, and I don't want us to miss them. Her nodding her head. Though, whenever Deku does get to leave, she does this own smile. Happy that her son appears to be living a normal life. Though a little annoyed that he tried to sneak out. Lie to her. She'll talk about that with him later. But for right now, she'll just let him be a normal teenager. And Deku, he does gonna make his way downstairs and get picked up by the group. As they do start driving down to the docks where this shipment is supposed to be. Now, Deku, whenever he does sit there, he does hear a lot about them talking. He just listens and does try to wait, a bit worried about what they might be dealing with. And there is where Deku, he does see one of them pull a weapon from their side. Right now, him quite alarmed to see a gun, and they do to hand it over to him. Them holding it by the barrel and sideways, telling him, "Has he ever fired a gun?" "No, I haven't. Well, why are you giving me this?" "Listen, if things go wrong, then you'll need it." "Go wrong?" "Yeah. Listen, they're rubber bullets, okay? Just point and shoot. Aim first, but shoot." "I can. But them handing over a mask to Deku, and he does get to take it. Right now, it covering the lower half of his face as they do to tell him about what's going to be happening. Before Deku is handed a pair of gloves by somebody, and right now they do going to make their way over to the docks. Them parking not too far away and beginning to try and sneak the rest of the way on foot. Before they do going to make their way over to a fence with barbed wire. One of them going to take a portion of a rug and slam it over the fence as they do try to climb, avoiding the barbed wire. And Deku, he does go to start climbing. Right now, him making his way over, but he does go to get nicked on the side of his hoodie. Right now, the wire slicing through as he does get over. Him looking at that and being a bit annoyed. Though someone doesn't inform him about what they're doing, making their way over as a boat is being unloaded. And when they do get to try and figure out what container it might be, one of them talking about numbers, things do begin to happen. They do get to see a group of people sitting there and standing there, trying to figure out what to do. And they do get to hear them talking. And this, it does sound bad. They're over there. And there is where someone does come strolling out. One of them shouting about what's going on as another person does a turn, bring up their weapon as right now people do get to come out of hiding. And this, it does begin to look bad. Deku trying to think about what to do. Though he does see a mutant type standing among that crowd of people. And this, it does make some of their group antsy. Right now, someone firing off a shot as everyone, they do to get down. Deku scurrying behind one of the containers as he does go to pull his gun and try to think about what to do. He's not sure how things got this bad. But this, it's bad. And right now, he does go to hear in the distance the sound of a walkie-talkie, turning his head as a security guard is running off. Them shouting something about shots. And the police, they're on their way. Right now, this is bad. And he does begin to hear the sound of gunshots being fired. As there is with the boat, it does go to unload a crate and someone does get a run over. Them going to clip the lock that's on the side, trying to pull it open and see what's inside. Though they do get to take a shot directly to the leg, them falling and roaring out in pain. And Deku, he does get a turn. Right now, him watching that person have someone make their way over to him. And Deku does step out from behind the container, bringing up his weapon and firing. The shot streaking past the person as he does scurry backwards and away. And he does a stare at the shell casing that does fly out of his weapon. Him watching it in slow motion, before a shot does fly past him again. And he does go to jump back behind the container, feeling his heart pounding in his ears, worried about what to do. And right now, Deku, he does go to fire the weapon again, as there is where time feels slower to Deku. He does feel the taste of his own saliva. He does feel just amped on everything. The situation is bad. People are firing at each other, and someone's bleeding. He's got to go out there and save them. Help them? Shit. What do they do? What do they? Lights blaring. And he does a turn as someone does a roar out for them to surrender, since the police have them all surrounded. And Deku does hear sirens, the ringing in his ears finally fading into that noise. Blue and red lights flying. As someone, they do go to step forwards and begin firing out a weapon. And Deku, he does a turn as a canister. It does a fly down and crash down a few feet away from him. Him, watching as the smoke does begin to shoot from that grenade. And he does bring his hands up, covering his mouth as someone, they do to run past him. Smoke billowing past the container and turning. Them firing out these containers all around them. And Deku, he does hear someone shout for them all to run. It's the police! They've got to go, they've got to go! And Deku, he has a turn, watching as the kid from his class, he does it to cover his mouth. Right now him coughing out from the gas. And he does a roar out turning, trying to fire his weapon at the cops. And Deku, the moment he sees that, he does feel like he was in over his head. Shit. He's got to go. He's got to run. And he doesn't do so. Right now him running through the smoke and choking out a cough, before he does make his way over and turn, looking over the side of the pier and trying to think about what he should be doing. He's got to get out of here. Crap. Him looking down into the water, before he does going to turn and see people running past. Him watching as the police do begin to surround the area. A cop car going to stop directly in front of them as the gate, it is locked. And he does get to stare at that, before he has a roar out about how they need to get into the water. And people do a turn looking at him. Deku running over and flying into the water, before he has a crash down and it's cold, as he does try to swim. And some people do to follow his example. Though Deku, he does try to hear a commotion, he does try to ignore. Right now him trying to just get away. And Izuku, he does it to do so. He swims. He swims until he can find a place he can get out of the water at. And when that does it to happen, he does go to toss the weapon, the hoodie, and the mask, just running home, trying to make sure he doesn't get caught. It took him about an hour, but he got home. And that was good. Though his phone is ruined. And right now that is his main problem. Though the next morning he does hear about the incident down at the docks. And he does try to think about it. Just trying to wonder about what to do. And this, it does have him a little antsy, before he does go to look at his phone and try to think about it. He soaked it in rice overnight, and yeah, that didn't seem to work. The case is supposed to be waterproof, but maybe, no, he was in the water. What should he do though? Him thinking about that, bringing his hands up as electricity, does a spark from his hands. And he does a look at that, before he does a drop his phone, and it does go to hit onto the counter. Deku raising his hand, staring at that and thinking that he might have not seen it correctly. And that it does go to alarm him, before he does go to raise his other hand and stare. It began to crackle electricity, and this time he does feel that strange feeling, bringing his hands together and going to try and focus on it. Come on. Was that real? Was it fake? No, but that was lightning, right? Him pulling his hands apart as electricity does spark from his fingers. And that, it does alarm Deku. He has a quirk. No, that can't be right. He has superpowers. He has superpowers. And that, it does alarm Deku. Him just happy. And right now, that is another concern. What is he supposed to do now? I mean, he has superpowers. Can he? Yeah, no. Can he figure this out? Can he go to UA? I mean, he has lightning, but what should he even do? Him making his way back over into his room, and he is to sit down on the computer and try to look into this more. Though he does try to be careful. He doesn't want to fry his PC. That would cost a lot more than a phone. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next one.